What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So, Finn has been reworked, and this is because of his auto soloing of Phase 3 of the Sith Raid. There's been a lot of people who've been mad with this, a lot of people who are happy with his rework. I've got to say that I personally am pretty happy with the new kit for Finn, but I totally understand why people are not happy with what's going on here with Finn. So, pretty much what's happening here is back when C-3PO was first introduced into the game, you were getting these auto solos of the tank raid, and someone from CG, I believe it was Top Hat, said that they were pretty impressed with it, but they weren't going to touch the auto loop, the auto solo of the tank raid, because it really wasn't affecting the Sith raid, so they weren't really worried about it. And that's what people are usually latching on right now to talk about how they broke their word here. But what's really funny is he even says in there that they won't interact with it until it breaks the Sith raid. And later that night, that's when several of us uploaded our videos talking about how C-3PO could solo Phase 3 on auto with a Rebel team with a Finn lead. And that was pretty much when I said, expect something to get nerfed here, expect something to get changed with Finn. And then another day or two later, they put out a post saying that they were going to end up changing the interaction of Finn and 3PO. And here we go. 2 months later, we've gotten the Finn 3PO infinite loop fixed, where you are now going to get a Finn that won't be able to constantly go over and over again, but a Resistance team under Finn's still going to be pretty viable. Now, the first thing here is the basic ability for Finn. They've done some changes here. The highlighted green is what's been changed. So his basic deals physical damage to the target enemy. The new addition here is that it deals 5% more damage for each time the target has been struck by it. And you fully upgrade this to its max level, and that goes from 5% up to 20% bonus damage for each target that has been struck by it. So, he's going to start doing stacking damage with that basic. So he's called to assist a lot. He's going to do some stacking damage there. But that's not the best of his stacking damage. We'll get to that here in a moment. Now, his first special, Hold the Line, it's been changed to 3-turn cooldown. And it's actually been pretty much reworked here. And I actually really like this, because it's now an on-demand heal for your Resistance team, and it also allows him to taunt. So with this fully upgraded, all Resistance allies recover 20% health and protection. Finn gains advantage, defense up, taunt, and determination, which is a new buff if I'm not mistaken. Dispels all debuffs from his allies. That's all allies, not just Resistance. Determination. When any other Resistance ally falls below 50% health, Determination expires and Finn gains taunt for 2 turns. If that ally was taunting, it is dispelled. When Determination expires, Finn gains Retribution for 2 turns. So there's a lot of synergy here already. So pretty much Poe is going to be your taunting tank with a Finn team. Poe can apply Expose to the entire enemy team. He can apply buff immunity, also do some turn meter reduction. And pretty much what's going to happen here is Poe's going to taunt. Enemies are going to start hitting him. He's going to fall down low on health. At that point, his taunt's going to expire. Finn is then going to gain his taunt. And at the same time, he is going to then, once that determination goes away, he's going to have Retribution. So people are going to attack him. He's going to start countering, which means that his basic's going to start doing that stacking damage if he gets hit multiple times by the same enemy. So there is some great synergy there. He's actually kind of a bruiser hybrid now. He's still very much a taunting tank, but now he's got a lot of stacking damage. He has potential to do a lot of damage now. So that is pretty good. So on-demand heal for Resistance, which is also great because, before there really was no on-demand heal for your Resistance characters. There was maybe Illuminate Destiny from BB-8, and I think Holdo may have had something with healing, but that was pretty much it. So this is another great healing ability, really going to help boost those Resistance teams. Special number 2, Takedown, when it's fully upgraded, and this is where it gets really, really crazy. Deals physical damage to target enemy, exposed for 2 turns, and stun them for 1 turn. So, barring the tenacity check, they're going to get exposed and stunned. The attack deals 60% more damage for each time the target has been struck by it, doubled against raid bosses. Oh man, I cannot wait to use Finn in a raid, because I think that this means he has the potential to be the hardest hitting character that I've ever seen in a raid. We'll see, but I think that he could probably get up to 1,000,000 damage pretty easily with this ability. I cannot wait to test it. This is what I'm most excited for, because if I can do an Annihilation video with Finn, oh man, that's gonna be great. I love this. I love this part specifically because 120% stacking damage with Takedown. Now, if you're using him either under his own lead or a JTR lead, you can use this pretty much every turn. The JTR lead means that he can't have debuffs when he uses it. If he has no debuffs, his cooldown's reduced by 1. He can spam takedown over and over again under either a JTR lead or with his new lead, which we'll get to here in a second. But this means that he has the potential to pretty much be the hardest hitting character. That's what I already said. But I think that this is the part that people have really been passing over because of the next ability, which is the leadership. But this takedown ability, this is definitely a game changer for Finn for the most part. Now, going on to his leader, which is the big deal here. If you look at it now, if you look at his leadership now, fully upgraded, without the Zeta, your resistance allies will have 60% bonus defense, offense, and potency, and other allies have half that amount. If you look at what Finn has right now with his leadership, resistance allies gain 30% bonus offense and 60% defense. So, you know, you're getting double the offense, you're going to keep the same amount of defense, and you're also getting 60% potency. That is huge because the Finn lead relies on you landing those exposes, and that huge boost of potency is going to be great for that. So that as a whole, pretty good. Now, where you have the big controversy here is the Finn leadership, and this is where people are mad. And what's going on here is previously, whenever an enemy takes exposed damage, reduce the cooldown of all resistance allies by 1 and give them 35% turn meter. You're pretty much getting an infinite loop because they could constantly apply exposes, and this was the big deal that people were not happy about with it getting changed. And this is what allowed him to auto solo the tank raid. This was allowed him to auto solo the phase 3 raid because you're using rebels with C3PO and they could just keep applying exposes and more exposes, and that was allowing them to do a lot of damage without Traya ever coming out of topple. So this has been changed, and what it's been changed to now is that with the Zeta, anytime that they damage an exposed enemy, all resistance allies gain 3% turn meter and a target enemy lose 5% turn meter for each resistance ally. Damaging an exposed enemy also reduces the resistance allies cooldown by 1. You're no longer going to get that 35% turn meter boost per exposed damage, so you're not going to constantly get the exposed damage and everyone on your team just keeps moving and moving and moving. That's not going to happen anymore. But I think that while they cut the amount of turn meter boost to your team, adding that 5% turn meter reduction for each resistance ally I think is a pretty big deal, because that means that if you're using a team of 5 resistance allies, everyone on your team is going to get 15% bonus turn meter every time they hit an exposed enemy, but that turn meter reduction of 25% every time that they take exposed damage, that is big. That's a very, very big deal. It means you can easily manage an opposing character. You can pretty much just constantly reduce their turn meter and shut them down. So while they're taking a lot of damage, they also can't really move because they're getting the turn meter reduction. So I think overall, this leadership is more than likely a nerf. I think it's a nerf because you can't do that infinite loop anymore, but CG went about it in a way that I think is still going to make it a very tantalizing Zeta for your resistance team. It's still not going to be as good as JTR, but I think that this has really helped bring him up a little bit. So you're not... I'm trying to think about this, because the reason I waited on this video till now to make it is because I want to sleep on these changes and, you know, basically figure out, process it, because I know a lot of people are mad. Like, I've been hearing from people all night about how mad they are about this change to Finn. And, you know, I totally understand it. And I think it all depends on what you were expecting to get out of the Finn Zeta. If you're using Finn just for the raids, for the auto solo and the phase 3 team, this is absolutely a nerf for you. And you are totally justified in not being happy with this. Really, the easiest solution they could have done for Finn here with phase 3 was just give Traya stacking tenacity when she was toppled. That would have been perfectly fine. And, you know, I was hoping that's what they were going to do, but I think that in reworking Finn here, that they took the best of a bad situation. You know, there was no real way people were going to be happy about this unless it is stacking tenacity. And even then, I'm not sure it would have worked that well, because down the road, you are still going to have this potential for any future game modes. We have another raid come out in the future, and the Finn C3PO team could still run right through it depending on the circumstances. So I think they had to cut it off at the head now. They had to rework how Finn and C3PO interact, because I think the problem is, yeah, if you kept this team like as it was now, a Finn C3PO team with 3 rebels behind it could potentially just wreck any future content. So I think that they really had to make this change now, and that I think is what we need to realize, is that there was no clear way for them to come out of this ahead and really call this a win. Like, there's no way for anybody to be happy, for no way that everybody was going to be happy about no matter what they did here. So they basically had to take this problem and the future problems that they could potentially have, and they just had to fix it now. So while I think that people can justifiably be mad for the Zeta on Finn getting nerfed here, I think that if CG goes ahead and gives everyone a refund on the Zeta and gives the opportunity to either put it back on Finn and put it somewhere else, I think that'd be the best idea here. Give CG, if you're listening to this, please, by all means, give people a Zeta refund on Finn. I think that's going to be the best solution here. I think it's going to make a lot of people happier who were using this team just for the raid. So, yeah, the leadership, I like it. A lot of people don't like it, and, you know, if you're using them just for the raid, yeah, you're definitely going to be mad about this. Now, what this means is that for PvP, Finn-led teams are actually going to be quite a bit better, because now with the stacking damage, the taunt, the retribution, the healing ability with Finn now for your resistance team, it's actually going to make them quite a bit more durable. They're not going to get the infinite loop, but they're actually going to be much more of a controlling team because of that turn meter reduction. So they said here in it that you can probably take on crew-led First Order teams and General Kenobi-led Jedi. You don't really see General Kenobi-led Jedi, but if this can easily manage a crew First Order team, I think this will be great. A well-modded crew First Order team would wipe out a Finn team very, very easily if they try to attack them. So the fact that now you can take out those crew First Order teams with a Finn team, that sounds pretty good. I think that if we don't get a Zeta refund, and those of you who are working on this just for the raid, try using Finn now with Territory Wars or Grand Arena, or try using him in other phases of the game, because I think this means that you're going to get a lot better return out of him than just the raids. Now, PvE, they're saying that he is still going to be a pretty solid team for the AAT, phases 2, 3, and 4, and the pit, but whatever about the pit. No one really cares about the pit. I am definitely going to have to do some raid videos on Finn. And they also say here, a Finn team should be able to do about 20% of phase 3 of the Heroic Sith raid. Definitely have to do that too. But a couple questions we have here, the big one being we don't know when this rework is coming out. CG said probably sometime in the next 2 weeks, so probably wait till after the Grievous rework and the buffs and the new droids and everything. Overall, I like this team. Now, ways you can use Finn with his rework, I mean, the big thing is you're still going to run teams that do a lot of exposes. So Finn and Resistance Trooper going to work great. Poe Dameron, once again, is going to work great with his buddy here. Finn and Poe can constantly have switching taunts. Poe's going to take some damage, fall down to below 50% health. Finn's going to then taunt, and, you know, he's going to help heal Poe, and he's going to get retribution. So Finn and Poe, definitely hand in hand. Resistance Trooper, I think, is another character you definitely want to use with Finn. And Resistance Pilot as well. You know, the four characters that have on-demand exposes without having to rely on critical hits, those are going to be your go-to characters for Finn. And, you know, I think if we're not going to use C-3PO, a rebel of some sort with Finn would be great here, because, well, no, you can't, because you have to have C-3PO, so no, that won't work. So there is going to be some different variations of teams that we can use here, hopefully, and see what they can do. But I think Finn, Poe, Resistance Trooper, and Resistance Pilot, those four probably going to be the solid basis for a Finn-led Resistance team. We don't really know how well this is going to work yet. We have the word from CG about how well it will work, but we personally don't know yet, and so I think that once we get the new reworked Finn, there's going to be a lot of testing, and I personally cannot wait for that, because I love me some theory crafting. If you don't have the Zeta on Finn yet, it was usually one like the best ones to invest in at the very start of the game. Go ahead and hold off, because I think that he's more than likely not going to be one of the best starting Zetas in the game, but I think that we can still find some good usage for him down the road. So that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you all think of Finn. I totally understand why people are not happy about the raid interaction. I totally get that. That was one of those big issues. And also, if you haven't seen yet, you can still auto-solo the raid with a JTR-led Resistance team with C-3PO. So you still have the potential to solo the raid on auto. Probably not as easy as the Finn team, but it's definitely something you guys can try out. So I'll probably be doing a video on that too now. Lots of videos now with resistance teams because of Finn rework. Who would have imagined that? So let me know what you guys think of Finn down below. If you guys have enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I hope you guys are still looking forward to using Finn in the future. But big thank you to all of you guys for watching. Big thank you to my patrons for their donations. And as always, guys, I will talk to you all later.